It was the morning after I received a text from my mom that simply read, "We need to talk. Emergency meeting at 7 p.m. tonight. Don't make excuses." My heart sank as I stared at my phone, wondering what on earth could have sparked this demand. My mom, known for her no-nonsense attitude, was never one to call emergency meetings unless something was seriously amiss. And this wasn't just an ordinary family chat. The word emergency hung heavy in the air. I tried to push it to the back of my mind. I had enough on my plate already, trying to figure out my next career move, which, to be honest, was more of a foggy guess than any clear plan. I had been feeling stagnant in my job for a while now, stuck in a low-paying role at a mid-tier consulting firm. While the company itself was well regarded in some circles, my role was hardly glamorous. I spent my days writing reports, crunching numbers, and attending countless meetings that didn't feel all that impactful. The kind of work you do to fill the hours but not to change the world. And it wasn't like I didn't try to climb the ladder. I worked late, networked when I could, and even took extra online courses. But nothing seemed to work. In the back of my mind, I had long wondered if I was just wasting time in a job that wasn't going to take me anywhere. That there wasn't much I could do. The bills had to be paid, and the security of a steady income, no matter how lackluster the work was, kept me from making any drastic changes. I told myself I was just waiting for the right opportunity to come along. But deep down, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was falling behind in life. At 7 p.m., I walked into the living room of my parents' house. My mom sat at the kitchen table, her arms crossed and a stern look on her face. My dad was nowhere to be found, likely out on a business trip, which meant this was between my mom and me. I could feel the weight of the moment before I even sat down. "Sit down," she said, her voice sharp. "We need to have a serious conversation." I did as she asked, unsure of what was coming. There had been so many times before when she'd expressed concern about my career choices, but this was different. She didn't look worried or frustrated. She looked disappointed. "I've been thinking about your career," she began, her eyes narrowing slightly. "And honestly, I'm getting tired of waiting for you to make something of yourself." I froze. The words hit me harder than I expected. I'd heard her mention things like this in passing before, but hearing her say it so directly stung more than anything. I knew it was coming from a place of love and concern, but it still felt like a punch to the gut. "I'm not one to sugarcoat things," she continued. "You've been stuck in that dead-end job for too long. You're wasting your potential. And frankly, I don't know how much longer I can watch you flounder like this." Her words hit home because, in a way, I had been feeling the same. I had this nagging sense that I wasn't doing enough to build a future for myself. But there was always something holding me back. Fear, comfort, laziness. Whatever it was, I couldn't bring myself to make any bold moves. I had no idea what my next step should be. But hearing my mom's harsh words made me realize just how much I had been lying to myself. She paused, giving me a moment to process what she had said. Her expression softened for a brief second. "Look, I know you're not happy. And I know you're capable of so much more. You've got to stop settling. You've got to take control of your future." I nodded, though I had no idea what to say. I felt like I was in one of those moments when life is forcing you to face the hard truths. The truth was, I had been coasting. I'd gotten too comfortable in my job, convincing myself that the next promotion would come, that a more exciting project would land on my desk. But the reality was, the work wasn't going to change unless I took the initiative to make it happen. I had always been the type to avoid taking risks. Sure, I was the smart one, the one who did what was expected. But that wasn't enough anymore. Not for me, not for her, and certainly not for the life I wanted to lead. After what felt like an eternity of uncomfortable silence, she spoke again. I'm going to make some calls. You're better than this. You've got the skills to do something incredible. I know you've been looking into different fields, but it's time to make a move. No more excuses. That was the end of the meeting. As I left the room, I felt a combination of guilt and determination. My mom was right. I couldn't keep putting things off, but I still had no idea what direction to go in. I knew I didn't want to stay in consulting, but what else was there? My mind raced with possibilities, but nothing felt concrete. I decided to sleep on it. I needed a break from my thoughts, a little distance to help me focus. The next morning, I woke up with a fresh perspective. It was time to stop hiding behind excuses and finally take action. But I didn't know where to start. I began researching opportunities, browsing job boards, and looking into industries that might spark my interest. That's when I got the call. It was an early afternoon, and I had just finished reading through a list of startup job openings when my phone rang. The number wasn't familiar, but I picked up anyway. Hello? Hi, is this my name? A deep, confident voice asked. Yes, speaking, I replied, my heart racing slightly. I couldn't place the voice, but there was something familiar about it. This is James from Goldman Sachs, the man said. We recently came across your profile, and we're very interested in discussing a potential opportunity with you. I froze. Goldman Sachs. The name alone sent a chill down my spine. I hadn't even applied for a job there. I barely even considered it. But here they were, calling me out of nowhere. It felt surreal. Wait, what opportunity are you referring to? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. We're looking for a senior analyst to join our team, James explained. We've reviewed your background and your skills in consulting and data analysis caught our attention. We think you'd be a strong fit for the role. 1,000 thoughts raced through my mind. How had they found me? Had my mom been involved? Was this some sort of cosmic coincidence, or was it fate? My fingers trembled as I gripped the phone tighter. I'm definitely interested, I managed to say. What's the next step? Well, James said, we'd like to invite you to an interview. Can you make it to our headquarters in New York next week? I almost dropped the phone. This was happening. This was real. The universe was offering me a chance, and it wasn't something I could afford to ignore. I'll be there, I said, my voice a little more confident now. After hanging up, I couldn't believe it. Just hours after my emergency meeting with my mom, a life-changing opportunity had fallen right into my lap. I sat there for a moment, processing what had just happened. It was as if everything that had been weighing on the frustration, the doubt, the feeling of being stuck had suddenly shifted into something tangible. The door I had been waiting for had opened. I called my mom immediately. When she picked up, I could hear the curiosity in her voice. Mom, you won't believe this, I said, barely able to contain my excitement. Goldman Sachs called. They want to interview me. For a moment, there was silence on the other end of the line. Then, her voice broke through, filled with pride. I knew it, she said, her tone soft but firm. I knew you had it in you. I'm so proud of you. It was the first time in a long while that I truly felt like I was on the right path. My mom had been right all along. I had been wasting time, but now I was ready to take control of my future. It wasn't going to be easy, but I knew that the time for excuses had passed. I had to take the plunge, even if it meant stepping into the unknown. The interview at Goldman Sachs was a whirlwind. It was everything I had ever imagined, challenging, intense, and full of high-stakes pressure. But I thrived in that environment. I felt alive, like I was exactly where I needed to be. Weeks later, I received the offer. I had made it. That night, as I lay in bed, staring up at the ceiling, I couldn't help but reflect on everything that had led me to this point. My mom's tough love had been the catalyst for this change. Her words, though harsh, had pushed me to finally face the reality of my situation. And in doing so, I had unlocked an opportunity I never thought possible. Sometimes, it takes a wake-up call, a moment of clarity, to realize that your life can change in an instant. And that moment had come for me.